there, Vault Dwellers. Follow us as we take a topic from the Fallout universe and discuss it in a group of diverse individuals. We are the Fallout Roundtable. Join us, the conversation has already started.
Welcome to another episode of Fallout Roundtable. I am your host, Maverick Stone, and today I am with Jaxus, Sassy Lady, and friend of the show, Warpath. Everyone say hi.
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 What up, butt nuggets?
Oh, Lord. It's going to be one of those
Butt
episodes.
nuggets.
It's going to be one of those shows.
It's going to be one of those shows. It's going to be one of those special episodes today.
He's on the special thing again.
Whole lot of charisma, not a lot of luck.
Exactly, yeah.
There you go. I
So
think we're really
I'm
low on
looking.
intelligence. Charisma might be okay.
Where
Intelligence
can
might
they
not be
find
there.
us, Maverick?
They can find us on Twitter at FalloutRTB. We have a Gmail, FalloutRTB@gmail.com. Gosh, I almost had a brain aneurysm.
We have a Gmail at
At FalloutRTB@gmail.com. We also have the YouTube where our videos where you see us screw up half the time. And I'll have fun at the same time. Fallout
we don't screw up,
Roundtable.
we have fun.
And then if
Those are
anybody's
all
ever been
intentional.
missing Gingerino, you can find him at OnlyFans at RTB. Right? No, Fallout RTB. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's Fallout
OnlyFans.
RTB.
Fallout Roundtable,
Yeah.
all lead fans, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, that's Gingerino.
that's what Gingerino's been doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's been really, really busy there. Weird noises coming
Those
from there
photo
too.
shoots
Yeah,
must
very
be
weird.
intense.
It's intense. It's
That
tiring.
whole slapping hams together thing sound, I don't understand that. This is weird.
We're in America.
was
some of that
crying the
stuff
other
up there
day.
is just sad.
Yeah, crying and
I-
sucking his thumb in the corner. I didn't get it.
No, I
understand
mean
that
the
either.
crying. I thought maybe I should check, but I was scared.
But anyway,
yeah.
we're going to be discussing villains.
Fallout
right?
villains or just villains in
Villains.
general.
Villains or Fallout villains.
Just any villain, huh? Like
Just any
Adolf
villain.
Hitler. There's a villain.
Darth Vader.
Dun 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 dun. Okay.
I think he was just misunderstood.
Yeah, I feel like Darth Vader
Mommy
was
didn't love him
misunderstood.
enough.
Yes, just like Moira Brown. Yeah, ultimate villains.
You know, there might be something there.
Yeah, there could be something there.
Hello, Eric. Silly
Yeah,
Eric.
exploiting the incredibly stupid.
Eeyore.
Hello again, Eric.
I'm gonna call him Silly Eeyore. Silly
Silly
Eeyore.
Eeyore. Silly Eeyore.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's sick of me already. We were
So
we were
anyway, which
talking
villain do we want to talk about first,
today.
or just in general?
Well, so so when you're talking about villains, I mean, there's a lot of characters in the games that are like really nasty. You got like
Very bad.
You got the little Cerberus guys that like look like I don't know human mixed with a dog and that like things coming out of their face, and then you've got like actual villains that were characters that like I mean, what do you mean when you're talking about a villain? 'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
are we talking
a
about
Night King
villains?
could be a
Because I mean,
villain.
there's the ultimate villain, Vault Tech. Are we
We're not
talking
talking
about
about
that?
Vault Tech is the
we're not-
embodiment of evil.
Evil.
I mean, Vault Tech's the ultimate villain,
Maybe.
and then there's West
Me-
Tech.
Yeah,
Well, in the U.S. Army, and
Well,
Yeah,
no,
I mean-
are we talking about individuals or organizations?
like, are you talking about like a
I feel like
specific?
we can go a little bit into
person.
both. It's not it's I made it broad so we could.
Okay, because I mean, I there's a lot of villains out there. I mean,
There are a ton of villains out there.
got Leggett.
I'm
You got Leggett Lennius, and then you got Frank Horrigan,
Oh,
Dr.
God, yes.
Braun, Richard Gray, which is the master. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, there's
you got
so
President
many
Eckhart,
John Henry Eden.
yeah,
John
John
Henry
Henry,
Eden,
Eden, yeah.
then President Eckhart.
The Vault 76 Overseer.
Yeah, 76 Overseer.
Well, technically,
Vault
all
Tech.
the overseers.
Personally, if we're talking about like the ultimate villains, so if you're thinking of just like on depravity and just total like mental screwed upness, Dr. Braun's got to be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Braun has got. Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
you think not only did he trap people into this like fake in reality world, Tranquility Lane, but
Right.
he did it with an alter ego of a little girl. What's really going on?
Which is a little
in this guy's
sick.
head?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
what's
grown man
it's
playing
sick
his
and
little
twisted.
girl.
And he's
It's
an
a little
old fart
twisted.
too. Like, I mean, he's crusty.
Right.
Yeah, he's a little bit.
Well, Tranquility Lane wasn't his only experiment that he ran on the people. He ran. That
Right. It was
the
just his
most
latest, the
recent
one that we
iteration.
see. Yeah. Because he would just recycle them.
Well, he's also the person that created the Garden of Eden creation kit.
Right.
Yeah.
And came up with probably about 90% of the experiments for the vaults. And
Probably. But, well, we don't know that now.
Yeah, no, we don't.
Because now we know that Vault-Tec divvied them up amongst all the different corporations, and the different corporations got carte blanche on what they wanted to do. So
Yeah,
now we don't know.
Yeah, but I'm pretty certain he was like, okay, you get that one, you get this one, you get that one.
And he might have planted ideas in people's
And then
heads.
Russian roulette for everyone else.
If anybody was like, I'm really struggling with a good idea, he was like, oh, let me just, here's an idea. Let's think about this.
Yeah, let's check the evil Rolodex.
But I mean, for
that one.
200 years, he kept
Yeah.
people trapped in their minds, basically, and played out, disgusting scenarios in their heads over and over where he messed with them. Like he messed with the married couple, kept trying to make them think that one was messing around on the other so that they would fight. He kept trying to make them pick fights.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a little bit weird and cruel. Weird.
Yeah, I mean,
that falls under the category of cruel.
Well, and then the
unusual
mental anguish that
punishment.
he put that poor kid through. Oh, my parents are getting divorced. My parents don't love me. It's my fault, because that's what he kept telling this kid.
That kid was kind of annoying. So,
well, of course he was annoying. The kid wasn't well adjusted at that point. The poor kid had issues. He needed therapy. So yeah,
I know another evil kid, the one in Grey Ditch.
Oh, you're talking about that
Who is
kid?
that guy?
Yes.
You're talking about that
Billy, or-
kid? That kid was annoying.
Yeah, he was, but I wouldn't say he was evil.
I wouldn't
what
say he
about-
was evil.
all
He
right,
was
so
more
there's a character
scared
called
and annoying,
Pikmin. Do
kind
you
of like
remember him?
Preston Garvey.
Do you remember Pikmin?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's
Pikmin, yeah.
twisted, man.
He
That
was
guy is
twisted.
twisted.
I don't know
If
if
I'm
I'd call
thinking
him
of
like
the
a
right guy, yeah.
villain per se, but he was definitely
Well, I mean,
demented.
it was, mind you, his victims were raiders, but like
Yeah.
he was
He
pretty
probably saw himself as a vigilante.
He kept their heads, he kept hands.
He made art out of them.
Had a couple nut sacks floating around. He would pretty much do what like he made art out of their body parts. So
Well, he painted with their blood.
Well,
I mean,
look at his
we're
face.
talking
Like
about
the artist that created him, that dude's got a blank like.
yeah, very. Well,
there's
there's a couple of very, very well done creepy characters. Have you ever talked to what's his name? I can't think of his name off the top. The guy, he's in 76. He's in the Raider, and you talk to him, and his tone and everything just reeks serial killer. What's his name?
Hold on, I have Wikipedia up. Hold on, let me look it. Let me see.
He's
I'll
on
be
a
right back.
particular.
I got a tickle. I've got to take a look at.
There's a particular quest that you have to talk to. Well, you have to go into that area. I don't know that you have to talk to him. What is his name? But it's like he's so monotone, and he's so.
I know. I think I know who you're because I think I've done the quest.
Doesn't he? Isn't it his necklace that you get?
Hold on.
This is gonna drive me nuts.
It's gonna drive me nuts too, because I think I know what
This
you're talking
guy
about.
is just when you want to think like what walk away from a conversation with him and you're like, that dude is messed up. Like there's something creepy about that guy. And
to
like
say
if
that
you were like
about
to
somebody in
know this
Fallout is
guy,
really saying something.
like if you
it's
knew
Fallout.
this guy in real life and then you were like to read about him in the paper later, you would not be surprised that doesn't shock me at all that he turns out to be a serial
Actually, the
killer.
surprise to be, wow, took him this long to figure it out.
Is he wearing a
Wow.
suit? Maybe.
No,
Who's wearing a suit?
Pikmin was wearing a suit.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Pikmin
they're
was wearing
the
a
guy
suit.
that I'm talking about, the only guy at Crater wearing a suit. Is he wearing a suit? I can't.
No Crater. Hold on.
A reference to Sickleman. I don't think he's Sickleman. Okay, now I gotta look this up.
Hold on. I'm
Finger
gonna
cold.
look it up.
Crater. See how I'm gonna describe this in the what is it? The War Room. I think it's the War Room. Which Raiders are there? Raider. Is it not Pierce? Pierce is the one you have to talk to, I think. This is a guy who's just there.
Hold on, you're talking about the people
It's for Steel Dawn, I think.
Steel
Burke.
Dawn?
His name is Burke.
Right. Okay, yeah.
They were hinting
Yeah.
at something a lot later on.
Yeah.
Burks for evil
holy-
bricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, his name is Burke.
Yeah, well, yeah, aliens had an evil Burke too.
Now,
Right? I know what I
we
saw
don't
that I
know
was
who
like,
the
that
Sickleman
makes
is.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, I agree with.
So we don't know who the
realizing that.
Sickleman is, but that is
There is a
definitely a
reference to Sickleman.
villain that we could discuss because, I mean, he terrorizes Appalachia.
He does.
Yeah.
Even if he is like a myth or a urban legend or whatever,
but
he's
the
still
murders are
scary.
real. Like
He
the
was
murders,
No,
real.
he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is real because you find all the headless skeletons, but he's not still around.
And I think the Scorch got him.
Wasn't that an early horror story that Nate wrote or
I
something?
don't remember.
And that's why it was in there as
It's been a while since I
Easter
played
egg.
76.
I haven't played it for 30 minutes.
I haven't played it for
I haven't played it.
yeah.
I just finished all my dailies and weeklies and
I guess I'm
Cleanup
more concerned
event
about the new college football.
says
game that's
in
coming
fifth
out.
grade, Nathan Perky Pile
Mhm.
wrote a
Pile.
series of
That's his
scary
name,
stories
Perky
in
Pile.
which
I love
Sickleman
the
was
name.
featured as a character. His
Yeah.
teacher was not too keen about the subject matter in these stories, and she made his parents come to discuss what he was writing in school. However, in the end, Perky
Perky
Pile
Pile.
decided
Perky Pile.
to channel the appreciation for the monsters and other weird things into his eventual career as a video game artist. In
Mhm.
response to the fan theories of Sickleman, Nathan Perkypile called any such theories an absolute load of conspiracy theory nonsense. Okay, that kind of went nowhere, didn't it?
Yeah.
So speaking of Nate Perkypile, I mean, the game that he's working on now after he left Bethesda and became an indie developer and he's making his own game, it's like a rock and roll hunting game with big beastie monsters.
We talked about it in one of these episodes.
Well, we've kind of discussed
It's
it from
very
time to
near
time.
completion. He's like, people are playing it right now before, it's kind of like stress testing.
It looks good though.
It does look good.
I would say the most famous adaptation of the Sickleman had to have been Chad 76
Yeah.
Fallout
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh, I
to me,
think
that
Chad
brought it to
learned
life,
about that
really.
and
Yeah,
just
he
took off
did.
with it.
I think he brought that character to life in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he took off with it and was just like, I love it. Let's go.
I love it. Oh, I'm
And
trying
then
to
a
think.
dweller
yeah.
and his dog brought up the pint-sized slasher,
Yeah,
That
pint-sized
was-
slasher. Wasn't that
which
like
is
a
funny
super
because I
villain
just
roleplay?
found the pint-sized slasher mask in Fallout 3. I forget which DLC it's in, but I just found it recently and was like, oh, that's neat.
Hmm.
That is a little creepy story. But of course, you have to be the pint-sized slasher in Tranquility.
I think the pint-sized slasher was
Lane.
Braun.
Yeah, I always thought that too.
Well, it was a story everybody knew. And then Braun makes you dress up as the pint-sized slasher if you don't do the other thing. And then he makes you dress up like the pint-sized slasher and run around and kill everybody. And everybody panics, like, oh my gosh, the pint-sized slasher, because that was the boogeyman for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, doesn't matter what you do, you have to go around as the pint-sized slasher in 3.
I thought if you call in the Chinese or the whatever, the National Guard or whatever, that you don't have to kill anybody. think
I
you
don't
have to-
recall that one.
Yeah,
It's been
you
a while
can
since I
go.
played 3.
You can go to
Because
the
every time you try to do your
house.
Pip-Boy, it just shows you looking at a watch.
Yeah, I know. I hated that. I kept looking at it. I was like, nope, not there. You go into that house and you punch in a code. Like you have to tap the gnome and the concrete block and the water bottle or whatever it was. And once you put that code in, it was like a failsafe. And then guards, soldiers, whatever, rushed in and attacked the whole place. So they
I might have
die, but
to
it's not
see if I can
you.
figure that one out again.
Yeah, I played it this last time when I ran it. I killed everybody as the pint-sized slasher. I tried to kill Braun. He's not killable. It was so sad. I was like, you need help.
No, he goes full blown like Super Saiyan on him.
Well,
Levels
the
you.
creepy thing is he's still a little girl, but then he starts talking like himself, and it's just very creepy to see a little girl
It
talking like an
does.
old German guy.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yes. Chinese failsafe. Everyone dies but you and Braun and the dog. Yeah. That's what I was worried about. I was afraid somebody was going to kill the dog, and I was like, don't kill my dad. It's like, yeah.
If we only knew at that point.
Of
Yeah,
course,
if we
Sulior always does
only
the
knew.
failsafe. Betty Braun whistling the code. Yeah. Yeah, she is whistling the code the whole time. And you don't really realize it until you go to put it in, and then you're like, that's what she's been whistling the whole day I've been here. Yeah, he's a creep. Creep. So who else you guys got?
I got
Caesar.
We can always talk about Caesar.
Caesar?
Caesar, part of Caesar's Legion. Hey,
Kaiser.
I feel
I mean, well, that's the thing though. So everybody talks about Lennius as being really nasty. Caesar is the guy
Caesar
that
was worse than all of
brutalized
them.
his ass.
yeah.
And like disfigured his face and then made him wear a mask. I mean, well, okay, gave it to him like I've got this mask for you. You can wear it, and you can be my #1 guy.
I don't want to look at you anymore.
But like,
Well, think about what he did
Caesar
to
was
Joshua
twisted,
Graham.
man. Like,
Right, that's what I was saying. Like, look what they did to Joshua Graham. I mean, that was
Yeah.
kind of horrific.
That was really bad.
Set you on fire and throw you over a cliff. Bye.
Can you fly?
Puts a whole new shine to you're fired.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good one. I gotta remember that one.
Mm.
I gotta
I
remember.
mean, it's
that
no
one.
wonder the guy hated him. I mean, good God, you can't really say, yeah, I don't blame the guy. It was
I don't blame the
okay.
guy.
That's fine. It's all right. No.
It's
Yeah,
not.
Lennius was brutal though. I mean,
Yeah,
That-
both
Yeah.
of them were really bad.
that was a level of brutality.
Well,
I mean, he had it.
When you walk into Novak, you can tell you're just like, oh, hey, everybody hanging on telephone poles. What's up? You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
Right
I mean, they're
there.
all
Not
powdered down or
Novak,
stuff.
whatever
Eh,
that other
who
town
cares?
is.
They're just there hanging decoration.
Well,
Hypnotists.
even Caesar had to like calm him down. He wanted to kill all of his people that like survived that were turned into slaves by the Legion,
Mhm.
and Caesar was like, okay, you can kill all the adults.
Right.
It's like you
Yeah.
can't kill the women and children. You can
The
kill all
kids
the
had
adults.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
You know?
But Lennius was like, no, he wanted to slaughter everything. He wanted to kill them all because they were
Kill
weak,
them all.
because of their weakness.
'Cause they're
you
weak.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but that made sense to save the kids because they had a chance to
What were
prove
their
that they were
people
stronger.
called? They were called the Baylanders or something like that. They had some weird ass name too. I forgot what their people were called.
I don't know. Chat's not helping.
I don't know. I didn't read that far into New Vegas's backstory.
It's been a
that
while
was a
since
Mr. New
ever
Vegas.
since I started. Ever since I finished New Vegas.
Oh, here's a wiki on him, but
I gotta get in there and play it.
Yep.
I forgot what their
guess.
people were called. Their people were like a warrior clan, and that's what because they were killing like full legions of Caesar's people, like ambushing them and killing them, and he was like their most brutal warrior, and then that made Caesar kind of just the Hyde Barks, that's what they were called, the Hyde Barks. They're a tribe of Arizona, and they were so brutal, and they were slaughtering legions, left and right, causing real problems for Caesar. That's why Caesar like grabbed like a full massive amount of
Hey, I got a
legions.
job for you.
Yeah, and
Stop killing my guys for a minute.
they overwhelmed them and slaughtered almost everybody, but they did keep some alive, and that's why Lennius was like pissed off. They basically knocked Lennius out, and then he woke up in captivity. That was the only way to take him out. And they bashed his face in to where he was almost unrecognizable.
So he would have rather been killed.
That's why they put the mask on him. Yeah. Which is funny because he was so adamant about killing the Legion and then ended up being their number one, like, slaughtering.
Right. I was going to say, I
general.
mean, what did it? Obviously, then he had the perfect opportunity to kill Caesar and didn't.
Well, his mind just got warped by,
Yeah.
being taken
I'm
in
pretty
by
certain it
Caesar.
was already warped. They just twisted it further.
Yeah.
Some kind of Stockholm syndrome thing.
Yeah, that sounds about
in
right.
a weird, fucked up way. Yeah.
I guess it's not that hard, when it comes down to survival.
So, are you guys familiar with Frank Horrigan?
Yeah,
Vaguely, yeah.
He's a super mutant.
Okay, so he's a super mutant that actually is
Super mutant
trapped
power
in-
armor.
Yeah, he's trapped
Yeah,
in
power
the
armor,
power
yeah.
armor. He can't take it
It's like
off,
beyond.
and it pumps him full of drugs constantly.
Right. They
You
have
know,
to keep him. Yeah, they got to keep
Now,
the drugs
there's
going to
another
keep him
like
alive.
hardcore villain,
Fallout version of Bane.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
and I believe he's from Fallout 2, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm pretty sure it was Fallout 2.
Yeah, I haven't
But-
played that one, so not.
So I think that was
certain on that.
when they went back. Was it when they went back to Mariposa so that they could make him? I read about him for one of our
so
shows a while back, but I
he-
forget the details.
He was captured or something.
What a nice guy. Good old Frankie.
Let's look him up there real quick. He's actually. They show him actually being part of Fallout 4 too. I don't understand how that is.
maybe mentioned. He's
He
probably
might be-
mentioned.
He was
probably had a
probably
mention.
mentioned.
Yeah, it's probably a
I'm-
mention. Because I'm like, I don't see how he.
I don't remember ever seeing Frank Corrigan in Fallout 4,
Unless we have like
They
armor
probably
or
just
something of
mentioned
his.
him, is what it is.
or it's in the update.
Of course, how can you trust it
Here's
when
the
they spelled
local
Fallout
soup
Follort? Yeah, they spelled Fallout wrong. That's
Well,
pretty
typos happen.
bad. Anyway,
Not when I'm
Anyway.
typing, but like, terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that one.
I'm grammar Nazi, so I can't.
so he used to serve as a personal bodyguard for Dick Richardson until an undocumented psychotic blunder caused him to resign.
Blunder?
It's what it says. Is psychotic blunder.
Blunder.
Yeah,
Oh, is that
caused
what we
him to
can call them
resign to the
now?
wasteland. Patrolled. Basically, he
Hey,
murdered
I can remember
somebody.
that term for
He
bad
murdered
days at work.
somebody.
I just had a psychotic blunder.
Why'd you yell at those customers? Psychotic blunder.
Yeah, exactly.
Psychotic bomb.
So it was that
Not
he
my
made.
fault. It
He,
was a
he ended up
psychotic
going
blunder.
to Mariposa, and he got in contact with the FEV virus, and it started mutating him into a super mutant while he was wearing his Enclave armor, and it kind of molded him into his armor. Or did they make it armor?
I thought they had to make, well, maybe it started that way, but I thought they had to make him armor because they had to make it,
Started
Where
mutating
it would
into the
distribute the
Enclave.
drugs to him.
Decided to send him
because I thought it
to
was
the oil
purposeful.
rig for study. So they
Yeah.
actually sent him to
They
the oil
studied
rig.
him.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Colonel
And they pushed
Dr.
it.
Charles Curling used him as a guinea pig for experiments with his modified strains of FEV. Considering the results somewhat successful, he was kept under heavy sedation and only allowed to be conscious for short periods of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was the drugs they were constantly pumping into him, was to keep him sedated and to keep the
Keep
study
him docile.
Yeah.
a Fallout Bane, pretty much.
Yeah,
Just like
pretty
we
much.
said earlier.
Excusez-moi.
I think it does look more like an XO1 power armor.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they fitted him with a custom engineered set of power armor by a back-mounted supersized microfusion reactor. And after a few successful field tests, he was assigned his new role, armed with a hardened composite blade for close combat and an experimental prototype plasma gun. He is a single.
Wow.
Okay, so you shoot
deadliest
him in the back
combatant
from
in
about a
North
mile
California.
away.
Yeah.
And sit back and watch the fireworks begin.
So he
Yep.
was
Something
Like-
tells me it's not that easy.
is apparently very loyal to the Enclave.
Not
Apparently-
surprising.
because-
They probably kept him alive.
Well, it was
Well,
probably part of
I
the mental
mean-
conditioning that they did to him while they were experimenting on him.
Well, there's that, but he started out as what, like Secret Service, basically.
Yeah, he was Secret
That's the whole
Service.
mindset, and then you just amplified it, probably with the FEV and all the whatever brainwashing they were doing.
And apparently very hard to kill because he's like
Yes,
got
he is
1,000
very hard
hit
to
points.
Oh
kill.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what I knew, is that he was
Yeah.
pretty sturdy.
Yeah, he was a sturdy character. But I mean, so I don't know. Are we talking about the worst villains as far as like their depravity, or they're just really hard to kill? Or are we just discussing?
Well, if we're going for sheer depravity, Motor Runner, Cook,
Mortimer?
Oh, so what?
Delphi,
Weller-
and Violet from the Fiends in New Vegas.
Weller brought up the toaster.
The toaster.
The toaster
Toaster.
from Old World Blues was not a villain. He was just pissed off that he was a toaster. Same feeling I get when I get passed by one of them little Nissan Cubes or whatever.
You know, it's funny. It was when I think about like villains like the Master. He became the Master completely by accident. He got knocked into a vat of FEV by a mechanical arm. Oops! Oh shit!
I
You
mean,
know?
industrial accidents happen all the time, right?
Yeah, I do believe the proper term is OSHA violations.
Yeah. But he ends up like wanting to create a super mutant army, and his brain got all
He's like,
twisted.
All right,
he
I'm,
started
since I'm
absorbing-
screwed up, I'm gonna make everybody just as messed up as I am.
Well, he started absorbing.
Basically, he
everybody
turned
that came
into
in
the
contact with him.
Joker.
But that was the thing, was I think he thought that he was then better, and he wanted everyone else to be better. And
He
what,
turned
didn't
into
he
the
feel like
It's
he
like,
was
dude, you can't
saving
even
people,
scratch your
though?
ass. You don't have arms.
Who doesn't have arms?
Well, they're appendages. I don't know if you call them arms. You can't really.
God,
really-
you
Nubs.
almost made me cough up my Red Bull. That was funny.
Bow before my electric heating coil of doom.
Huh, they actually consider Arthur Maxon a villain. Huh.
Arthur Maxon. You mean
Only if
Captain
you hate the Brotherhood, I guess.
Captain Arthur Maxon?
Well, I mean, he's keeping technology from people. I guess that's villainous.
Are we talking about Elder Maxon?
kid would
or are they
consider
the
it
same
villainous.
person, just different descendants?
Arthur Maxon was Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are
Roger
talking about Elder
Maxon
Maxon.
was the original Maxon.
I thought the Fallout 4 Maxon was also an Elder.
Well, yes, he was, but it was Arthur.
Arthur was Fallout 4.
Arthur's the one that kind of really got really heavy on the keeping technology from other people.
The
and,
Pridwin.
and cutting off the
Captain-
Brotherhood of
The
Steel from
Pridwin Maxon.
bringing in outside people into the Brotherhood. He was the one that kind of went a little nuts after a while.
The Pridwin Maxon.
Which I
Crazy
find
one.
odd, considering he was pretty much trained by Elder Lions,
Right.
who
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
complete
I mean, he
polar
grew up-
opposite.
That's
he
where
was
he
raised
grew
by
up.
Elder
you know.
Lions. Yeah.
But his circumstances kind of created it where he was at. Because I mean, he's the one that killed the
Deathclaw.
Deathclaw with a knife, right?
I think at a young age.
Yeah, he was.
I
a
wouldn't
kid.
even attempt that with God mode on a computer.
Right, but I mean, that's what he did. You know, the people he was supposed to protect him, he ended up protecting them with a knife.
Yeah.
He's either incredibly brave or just straight up insane.
Uh-oh.
What?
Lion
I didn't do
cover-up
it.
conspiracy. I need to know more about that.
Uh-oh. I think we need a part 3 to our
There's
conspiracy.
some rumors
theories.
that Arthur Maxon was responsible for the death of Sentinel Lions and Elder Lions. That's what they're hinting at.
Oh, that does make
Oh.
sense.
What's
But
the time frame for
Lion
Elijah?
cover-up?
That was New Vegas.
Elijah,
think
that
that
was
money,
way
right?
back.
Yeah, that was
Elijah would have been way back. Wasn't Elijah the one that went crazy? You did the Maxon history. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been a long
Yeah,
time.
Elder
now.
Elijah.
Elijah's the one from.
Well, you
Dead
deal with
Money.
him in I was just gonna say Dead Money.
Yeah, he's the one that kind of basically turns everybody into his playthings as far as playing his little game with the ghost people
Right.
and all that.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that
He
is
is,
in
he is the Fallout version of Jigsaw.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. And which is so the ghost people kind of trip me out because they don't really have a whole lot of mention of the ghost people, and those individuals, they don't talk, they don't react, they don't do anything, but they'll lurk all around dead money trying to kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, what are they all? Because they're all behind those gas masks, so you don't know what's really going on behind there.
They're the guards of the Sierra Madre
Right.
Yeah.
in some weird psychotic reasoning.
What about Colonel
Still
Autumn?
traumatized by dead money. That's creepy.
What about
Um,
Colonel Autumn? You
I
Fallout
don't know
3.
about
I
Autumn.
wouldn't consider him a villain. I just seem like he's just a loyal
He's-
soldier.
Yeah,
he's
Evil
loyal.
he's
prick,
just
I think,
a-
is a better
He's just a
assessment for
soldier of the
Colonel Autumn.
Enclave, and if you look at it that way,
Yeah, he just is loyal.
Enclave is the villain there.
That may be it.
Which again
Re-
goes back to John Henry Eden.
Yeah,
Right.
But he's
I guess-
still
yeah, that's
Or
in there.
Modus.
No,
Modus.
no, I don't.
How
think
much is
Modus.
it just everybody's following, the shots that Modus is calling?
Well,
I mean-
Or they're picking up where
Modus-
Modus left off.
was Modus in control of Henry Eden?
Right.
Was Modus Henry Eden?
That's a great
Ooh,
question.
Theories. I love this.
Or
I
were
got
they
new-
talking?
I
I
got
got the
another
impression
episode
that they
idea.
talked to each other. Like Modus was
No, because
disturbed.
Modus was cut off.
Modus was separate because Modus was disturbed that John Henry Eden, became this persona of all the presidents that he learned about and developed his own fireside chat persona based on so wasn't he a little bit of Lincoln, a little bit of FDR, a little bit of whatever. And I think that
956.
I think Modus was bothered by that. He was like, bro, what's up with you?
Pick a personality.
Yeah, why are you like this? You don't need to do that. And John Henry Eden was like, I like it. And Modus is like,
Nobody asked you.
just stop.
Okay, so how about Kellogg?
His collar
Kel-
started
Kel-
to be-
Dickhead.
I feel
Well,
like
okay,
he's.
so-
I feel
thought
like he's
about
a middle.
Kellogg.
I feel like he's a middle villain.
I don't think he's evil, but this is the thing.
He's a
when we
mercenary.
see
Does
his life,
anything for money. He even
Yeah,
killed
that's what
some
I'm saying.
woman.
but that's the thing. He's a mercenary. He does anything for money. Yes, but look
Like
at
I
his
said,
life.
grade A dickhead.
But look at his life. He was brought up by a jerk. He, vowed that he was always going to take care of his mom, whatever, always take care of his family. Then, somebody comes in and kills his wife and daughter. So click, he triggers and he's just like, oh, I'm on a
I'm gonna
rampage.
go kill other
Yeah, I mean
people's
that would
wives.
send me
And
batshit
he's
crazy
good at
too.
it.
But
He's good at it. So he goes where the money is. He does what the people who are paying him says to do.
Yeah, because he's a mercenary.
essentially the Punisher without morals.
But
Yeah,
you see that he's bonded with this kid. He enjoys having this kid with him. And then the Institute takes him and he's like, oh, I'm alone
Okay,
again.
so talking about the Institute. What
Yeah,
about
God,
Mayor
yes.
McDonough?
big villains.
No, I think I think anybody who's snatching, grabbing people
Yeah.
and swapping them out, that's nuts.
Well,
That
Mayor
I
that's
get if you're on your
nuts to think
deathbed
about.
and you're gonna die of cancer or something, and they're like, "Hey, we can give you a whole new body. We'll just transfer your memories into this synthetic machine." Then maybe that'd be cool. But don't take me in the prime of my life without my knowledge or my family's knowledge or whatever. That's nuts.
Kind
I mean,
of
I
like
wouldn't
what
mind a
you see in
rebuild, but,
Diamond
you know.
City. Kind of like what you see in Diamond City, brother trying to kill the other one.
What
Yeah.
was his name? Is it
Well, you have that
McDonough?
no matter what,
Is that who
Yeah, they're
you're saying?
gonna
whether
kill each other.
synthetics or
Donna-
not.
McDonough or something like that, the mayor.
McDonough or McDonough? Donahue?
Something like that. He's the mayor.
Yeah, well,
And we find out later he's a synth. But no, you walk in on that scene where there's two brothers pointing guns at each other, and he's like, "You're not my brother." He's like, "No, I am. He's like, "No, you're a synth." And he's like, "No, I am. And you can either shoot the guy yourself, or you just let it play out, and the guy gets killed, and then he is indeed a synth.
Yeah, it turns out.
Sneak
turns
him by.
out
Or
he
I think
was.
or
Problem
maybe
solved.
or maybe the original guy gets. I don't know. One of them gets killed, but you can kill the synth, or you can just let it. I don't know if it's like the guard that kills him or the brother that kills him. I don't know. I forget. It's been a while, but he is a synth,
whoa.
and you run into these a lot. I ran into a random encounter where two
So
guys
did
were
you
fighting.
know that he's the brother of John Hancock?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, that one.
And John Hancock is a ghoul, and his brother is like, all ghouls get out. Yeah.
John Hancock's ghoul and his brother's a dick.
It's John Hancock's brother, and he's like, no
But he's a
ghouls in
Sith.
Diamond City. I don't know that he knows that, though.
Okay. But
I don't think he's aware. Like, they're not aware that they're synths. Like, the guy that you
Paladin Dan's
talked
a
to
fine
on the
example on that.
farm, right there on the coast or whatever, you know, because like his family's all like, he's different because he's not an alcoholic anymore. You know, he's not abusive anymore. Like, he just seems different, but we like it. He's nicer. He doesn't
Yeah,
know
let's
that
keep
he's a
this
synth.
version. What makes this one?
Because like the guy was a complete ass to his family, and then all of a sudden one day he's a nice guy. Well, because he's not him anymore.
no, he's just because he was swapped out. He's not really Hancock's
He
brother.
was swapped out, but
Yeah.
he ended up being it ended up being a better situation for them. But that's one of the
so
places where
weird,
you
though.
are sent to find out, like, either find out if the guy's a synth or I don't know, something. I can't remember now. You go there for some reason. But
I mean,
I've run into random
does
encounters
Hancock
in the
know he's,
wasteland
uh,
with people fighting because they're two lookalikes. One's a synth and one's a person. And you have to decide which one is the real person.
so weird. Oh, I remember that murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still
Oh, I
weird.
killed Kellogg too because he killed my husband and my baby, or took my baby, so I didn't care. I killed him. That wasn't a problem for me. But I'm just saying I don't think he's like a huge villain. I just think he's like a criminal.
I feel like
So what about
he's
House?
a middle game.
Yeah.
Ooh, but how about we do it after a
House?
break?
Oh, yeah, we need to take a break.
You'll have
Yeah,
to think
let's
about
talk
House
about
After
after.
House.
these messages, we'll be right back. Do you think that's copyright infringement? Hi, welcome to 3 Count Thoughts. Let me introduce the crew real quick.
Hi, I'm Maverick Stone.
I'm Romer.
And I am Jaxus. Join us as we talk all things wrestling. Each week, we'll take a topic from the wrestling world, knock it around a bit, and then go over the week in wrestling from a strictly fan perspective. We can be found on all major podcast catchers. We can also be found at 3 Count Thoughts on both YouTube and Twitter. Or you can send us an email using 3countthoughts@gmail.com. Okay, are you ready? Ring the bell. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yeah, we're still talking about villains. We were talking about, the rule of 3, and then I started talking about knees. The left knee, the right knee, and the we. Oh, yeah. Apparently you don't get to that part before people start talking. Go figure. Anyway, and then Sassy started saying something else, and then I got lost in the minutia of my life.
House.
Oh,
We
yeah,
were going to
House.
talk about House.
Well, we
House.
were going to talk about House after break, and then I have somebody else that I was bringing up. That's all.
Our house in the middle of the street.
Not our house, the house.
Uh.
So Sulior says that
Nee's
House
house.
has New Vegas' best interest at heart, and possibly Jax's.
What?
Well, no.
I'm so confused.
He said he
But you
thought.
have to listen instead of sing.
I was having fun though.
I know.
Yeah, House really, I don't classify him anywhere near villain. Anti-hero, possible.
Sure.
Deadpool type anti-hero?
Well,
Uh,
Yeah, but the whole
Well,
like creating
not
your
Deadpool
own,
type.
I feel like
The
so I feel
chemical
like right now
army
it's
to
kind of
keep
hard to
everybody
say
in
because
line.
I feel like it's things are
Kinda
Kind of like if you
tyrant-ish.
entrusted Bill Gates with murderous robots.
well,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I think Bill Gates is probably a bigger villain than Mr. House was, but
Don't
I
go
think
there.
he's the Antichrist, but that's besides the point.
but but
Some people may
I
think that would be
think-
my brother, but we're not going there.
But I think we're going to learn more in the second season of the show about Mr. House that we don't know. And we may change our opinion about him. But I think that he really was, trying to save New Vegas because, well, obviously it's where his vast majority of his interests were. His casinos, his money interests. I think that's where his company was started or something. So,
That's where the Robco, I believe that's where the actual Robco headquarters was
Right.
New Vegas.
So his business interests were being saved by him saving New Vegas. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, I want to save all the people in New Vegas because I love them. It wasn't like anything like that.
He wanted,
You
was-
know,
he wanted his
you don't crap where
assets
you
safe.
sleep.
Yeah, his
Yep.
assets were saved. And he found a way to keep himself going, which we find out that Vaultec has also done, to keep themselves going so that they can keep running things.
Oh yeah, you're
years
not
into
supposed
the
to open
future.
that particular pod, are you?
Huh? What's
Nothing.
that?
You're not supposed to open that particular pod, were you?
Oh, right. Yeah. So we'll find out about that too. So it's
Oh, and if anybody's worried about spoilers, you're listening to the wrong show. We just don't give a shit.
Yeah, we don't give a crap about
well, I mean,
that.
I feel like how long is this show? This show's
Except
been
for
like
the
a
show.
month now. If you haven't
Well, the
seen
show's
it yet,
been
I'm
out for almost a
sorry.
month, so yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a month.
If you haven't
is
seen it by
fair.
now,
Something's wrong with you.
what's your problem?
It's been a month and 5 days.
It's amazing.
Get on it. I'm sorry.
finish listening
I've
to
seen
us
it
and
like
then
6
go
times
watch it.
now.
Okay, so let's
You've
dig
had
into
time.
the TV show a little bit. Now we're
Yeah.
going to talk about
Ooh.
villains there. Now, what do
Okay.
you think
well,
about?
one more before we switch to the TV show.
Okay,
Brad Burton.
Tenpenny.
huh?
We're just throwing out things. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Brad Burton, though,
are you talking about the Nuka-Cola guy?
the Nuka-Cola guy.
Bradberton.
In Fallout 4, we find out that he got in bed with the Defense Department or whoever and was
Defense
making, stuff with his Nuka-Cola Quantum for military use.
If I read it right, because I looked at this while I was making the Jeopardy board, and he was making something. He was making something that turned out to be Nuka-Cola Quantum, all the after effects from that, and then they sold it to the public.
Well, and then their policy was also to just take out their competition.
Yeah.
So they
Well,
would,
that's with every company.
you learn that in Far Harbor, they go out and they just like, what was it? Is that Sulier that brought that up? No, it was Dweller and his dog. That they would just go out and they would hire people to shoot up the Vim trucks. That's not every company. Well,
That's what they
maybe
used to do
in
in the
Fallout, but
Prohibition. You didn't want somebody muscling in on your territory. You just hired a few people to shoot up their trucks as they're going.
yeah, they just went back like early, like that looks like a cool thing to do. They did it in 1920. Let's try that. That's neat. It seems like the way to go now. I don't know. It felt like it was really, well, I mean, okay, first of all, if you read, so in Fallout 3, I guess I was in there and I'm reading like the product notes and they were like, oh, only 9 of the test subjects died. So it's
Only.
not bad, so like they know that their formula kills people. They know that it's, irradiated as hell and that, this is causing cancer and like people are like losing their hair and, and they're like, it's okay.
It still
Just
tastes
drink-
good.
If you
just
think
don't
about
drink
it,
as much. You'll be
Philip
fine.
Morris. They got
Oh no,
Don't
they
chug
encourage
it.
drinking more.
You got people getting their legs sawed off because of the nerve damage from smoking cigarettes. But yeah, have another one. And then
Keep going.
now they've
Buy
got
Keep
her
going,
those
keep going.
signs
more.
in the stores that say that they purposely made sure that they made their products ultra addictive. They have to
Right.
post that now, but people are still like, oh, give me that.
They still do it. I know.
They
still do
yeah. So
These
I mean,
people come in on oxygen and they can't breathe and they're sucking down
Yeah.
I need
inhalers
a
like once a
cigarette.
week and they're like still smoking and I'm like, I don't understand. I don't get
Uh,
it. It's like,
I
explain it
smoked
to
for
me.
30 years, I haven't had a cigarette in quite a few years now. And thank goodness, but like, I look at that and I'm like, you purposely poisoned yourself on a regular basis. And I'm like, yeah, it just, not a thought in your head.
Yeah, my
Hmm.
sister still smokes and it's weird, but
So, all right, going into the TV series, because this is kind of
I
a
had
new,
one more villain we could definitely discuss.
that's
Okay.
Before we get
outside
to
of
the
the
TV series.
television series. Okay.
Give me the villain.
Tenpenny.
So do you really see Tenpenny as
a bigot.
so
He wanted to destroy an entire community just
Well,
because
that's
he
true.
didn't
But
like
He wanted
see,
the
the
that's
thing
true.
was, is
That
he
I
wanted-
forgot about Megaton.
He wanted
yeah,
the
you're
whole,
right.
but he didn't really
Yeah,
actually.
He
when you
didn't like
investigate,
Megaton.
it wasn't really him that wanted everybody dead. He wanted them to be removed from the town. It was actually
yeah,
the
blowing
guy.
up the town would remove them.
Well, all right. So the one that actually wanted to blow up the town was the guy that what's his name?
Burke.
Mr. Burke.
Mr. Burke. Mr. Burke is the one that's really twisted. He wanted to kill everyone. He worked for Tenpenny, but it was Tenpenny only wanted them out of there. He was like wanting them evacuated.
He wanted
Burke-
Megaton leveled. He didn't want it there at
Yeah.
all. He didn't like the way it looked.
Yeah, but he
But didn't he say that
necessarily
like it was the only thing he could see on the horizon
he
from his
didn't
building, and he
necessarily
wanted
want
Yeah.
to kill
Yeah.
everyone.
He
It
didn't want
was
to kill.
Burke that wanted to actually, basically, I want those people
Burke just
gone.
figured
Do
out
it
a
by
quicker
any
way to
means.
do it.
Burke went,
it
okay,
did just make it
I'll do it.
easier to
Yeah.
bomb it,
Burke's
right?
like,
So
okay, let's bomb it, and we'll just that'll
Right.
get rid of everything.
that'll take care of everything.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Except
mean,
Moira
Mr. Burke was
Brown.
a little too, and again, another creepy Burke. Something crazy, a little crazy about the Burkes, because he's also the
Moira
guy
Brown
that shows up,
survived.
but
Yeah,
he's
She is
somehow.
a Fallout equivalent of a cockroach.
he's also the one that shows up in your hallucination after when you're on Point Lookout and you go for the Mother Punga, and you have that like
But at the same
hallucinate.
time, you know what? Tenpenny also did mention that he did like the display of fireworks.
Oh, he loves it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
he-
like
he-
watching fireworks too, but
does
not
like
at the
it.
expense of leveling an entire city.
But I don't. But that's again. That's
He was
like
very
not-
disconnected. I
Is he
think.
not a villain, or is he just a criminal? He's just a slime ball.
He's a slime ball for sure, and he looks an awful lot like Dr. Braun. If you put Dr. Braun in a suit,
Maybe they're related.
I don't know. They just look a lot alike.
Sure.
So, all right.
Hi, Dweller. Thanks for coming
Now
in.
we can get into the TV series after the fifth time.
You do get good karma for murdering him. Well, that's true.
So, McLean would be my
McLean.
first thought.
Hank McClane.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's willing to take out a city because he's pissed at his wife. So that's bad.
Just the whole lying, dastardly element to him.
Well,
It just-
that includes all of them.
Yeah.
Everybody from Vault 31, then all of them.
Yeah. Well, dude, the overseer, that lady's creepy.
Yes. Well, she's also from 31, and that's like
Yeah.
something that
She
we
was
were.
one of the
That's what we
ones that
touched
worked with
on today when we
Rupert Howard's
talked
wife.
about that episode where Norm finds out that all the overseers came from 31, and he wants to know, like, and they found out that Vault 32, when they all died, they were like, we know what's going on in 31. And he's like, what is this connection? And he asks Stephanie, what's so great about 31? And she says, well, what did your dad tell you? And he says, well, not much really. And she says, oh, well, I think the mashed potatoes were better. And then he
Yeah.
says, that's what dad says too. So, I mean, like, they all have this party line. It's the mashed potatoes that are better in Vault 31, which is crazy. And that seems silly to me.
Yeah, they're all drinking the Kool-Aid.
Drink.
Well, I think they're
drinking
all
the
told what
Kool-Aid.
to
Well,
say.
there
in
might be
case
something to
anybody
the mashed
asks, this
potatoes
is
that we're
what
not
you're gonna
getting.
say. Don't tell them anything. You can't let them know what's really going on over here.
Well, and the mashed potato code thing might turn out to be some, maybe the mashed potatoes are made out of humans. Who knows? I mean,
Well, they don't eat. So how would they know the mashed potatoes were better? They don't eat.
yeah.
They were frozen dinners themselves. How would they know?
They are the frozen dinner, right? I don't know. So,
They were
mean-
a frozen TV dinner. Yeah.
So
But
this
you
is
know-
speculatory, but
but
what about
you know-
Barb Howard?
I think Betty, I don't know about Barb, but I think Betty is as bigger of a villain than Hank is. And she may have been put in like little
I think she
No, no,
was
no, no.
definitely, yeah.
in Hank's
Yeah.
ear.
She might have been
It might have been her.
She might have been just trying
she
to
even said,
get everybody
there.
against Hank.
I was there when we buried when your mother was buried, because it was the way she said it. I was there when your mother was buried. So, if you just listen to it, you think, oh, she was buried in the, typical sense. And then you're like, Oh, she was buried by a bomb. Oh, yeah, okay.
Well,
Okay.
it turns out to be a ghoul sitting at the table. So I mean,
At
Right.
least what's left of her.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
they assumed that she was killed by the bombing, and apparently she wasn't.
She turned into a
I'm
ghoul.
kind of disappointed how far they did not get into the story of Barb, and because they kind of left a lot out there. It's like when
think
they
we're
show
gonna
her
find
in that
out.
court, when they show her in that not courtroom, but
That boardroom.
the boardroom, and
Yeah.
her demeanor just changed. Like,
Oh yeah, she becomes
Oh,
cold.
yeah, it was
very
like
cold.
cold,
Yeah.
calculative,
Yeah.
very, it's like how much of that is real? How much
And
of
when
that is
she says, well, okay, so who was it? I was talking to somebody who thought that maybe Barb was a plant to get Cooper Howard on board with them. I'm like, that's
But
a long
why?
game. That's a
Well-
real long game.
well, not only that, but why?
I don't know.
Why?
You know what I mean? Couldn't they could have utilized, I mean, maybe his popularity as an actor.
That's what I'm guessing. Like he
made
was
that-
such a big star at the time that, and they knew that he didn't do advertising and he, whatever. And he was such a, because he was a former soldier and he was such a big star.
that could have a
and
lot to do with it, but
to
yeah.
get him to flip to their side and be their spokesperson,
To get him to sell out the way he did.
they would need it to come from someone close. And so they insert her, and then she gets a relationship with him and they start a
Have a
family. And so
kid.
she's playing a part. And like maybe she's like just playing and she's not really into
That's
him,
a
which
hell
is
of a long
probably
game, though.
it is.
That is a really
Because
long game.
Janie's what, 7?
Yeah, around
That's
there.
a lot of years. That's assuming she got pregnant immediately after they got married. So that's a long game. I mean, that's a big time investment. And then they find, I'm assuming we're going to find out in the second season that they find out that he's the one who's been listening, that's why her Pit Boy is transmitting, that he knows everything now. And so obviously they get divorced. She cuts him off. But why he had Janie on the day the bombs drop tells me that she doesn't know when the bombs are dropping, even though she says in the boardroom.
Or she just didn't care.
That doesn't make sense because
Business
and
requires
maybe
sacrifice.
it is, but I mean, she sits there in that boardroom when she doesn't have to look like she cares. And she says, I think about Janie when I think about how we're going to take care of these people. She says, she talks about her daughter. She
Well,
doesn't
she makes
just
a
say,
big
But she
deal
might have
about
been
getting
throwing her
them
daughter
into
in
a
with
legit
them.
vault.
Well, what I think is that even though they said we're going to drop the bombs, I don't think they did. But see, somebody else said, oh, maybe she wasn't involved because she got cut out, or maybe they didn't tell her because they can't trust her because she already leaked all this information unknowingly. But I don't think it's that, because otherwise she wouldn't be in the good vault. She would have been in there with Buds. And we know she's not because she's not on the list. And we know she's not going to be in 31 anyway, because 31 only oversees 32 and 33. And she was going into the vault that oversees all the vaults.
And as far as I know, there's no other vaults that are connected like that.
No.
Not that I know of.
No.
No, and she was pushing hard to go into the vault. And she kept saying, we're going into a good vault. Because
Yeah.
she probably knew the experiments were going on or going to go on.
Damn near, yeah.
Because
she
then
knew
they
it.
even
that
talked
was-
about
It was
it
probably
Yeah.
her
at
idea
the
to
board
start
meeting.
the
You
Because
experiment.
there
guys
was
can do
mention of
whatever
that
you want.
when they were having their conversation. When
Right.
he was like,
But that came up later because
Right.
she was having that argument with him before, like, I want to get us into a good vault. And in her, a good vault meant no experiments.
That
And
means
then
a control
she says-
vault.
Yeah, well, the control vault, because then she said later, we're going to be at a vault for management that we oversee all the vaults. And that's why she didn't want to go off to Bakersfield.
no,
and I
that would have been the little robots vault, though.
No,
wouldn't it?
that was the one. That's the Necropolis vault. That's the one
Is
where the
it?
door didn't close. Yeah, that's Necropolis. Is Vault 12. It's in Bakersfield.
No, I mean
Oh.
31, where the little robot is.
Oh, 31's
little
where
robo
Bud's
brain.
Buds. Yeah, 31's
Yeah.
Bud's Buds. Yeah,
Yep.
Bud is the Robo brain, the brain on a Roomba.
But
That's how
you know,
Amazon
the
had it
true
listed
villain.
as brain on a Roomba.
It was really funny.
I love that.
That's a whole new way of being a villain, though. That's for sure.
But I think that Vault-Tec either got usurped on dropping the bombs. I don't think they got a chance to do it, or they cut her out and didn't tell her because they were afraid she would leak it, because that's the only reason she would have let her daughter be with her dad that day. Otherwise, she would have had her with her, and they would have been in the vault. They wouldn't have been running around.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if, so this is further speculation on my part, because remember when Lucy says to Cooper, "Is this what happened to you?" And he said something like that. I'm wondering if he did get a place in the vault, in Vault 12 in Bakersfield. And of course, then he became a ghoul because that's what happened in Vault 12.
Because the door didn't close.
Because the door didn't
Yeah.
close. So,
Hmm.
you know, when he says something like that, he knows Vault-Tec set it up so that the door didn't close.
And they might have known that he was going to be in that one, and they were hoping to get rid of him.
Could be.
I mean, that seems like a lot of foresight, because he wouldn't have gotten that until later, after they probably determined their experiments. But she may have said something like, well, he wants to go to Bakersfield, because she knew he wanted to go back there and get a ranch. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Man, so many things to talk about.
I know.
But
We could
every
just keep
single
going
person at
on
that
and on
table.
and on.
So, you know, we all thought, oh, it was the Vault-Tec experiments. The Vault-Tec, you know, Vault-Tec came up with all these experiments. But no, Vault-Tec divvied up those vaults. They said, we have over 100 vaults. That gives you all plenty to play with. And everybody had their own thing. West Tech got to do something with theirs, and
Robco,
Robco.
the
Big Mountain,
rocket company, I can't remember the name.
Repcon.
They got to do something, and then House got to do something. Everybody got their share. So it wasn't just Vault-Tec, it was all of them.
Hmm.
That was a revelation.
The true villain was the person in the shadows during that
and
meeting.
that's what I feel like that was Enclave.
No, it was Todd Howard.
Todd Howard himself.
Todd Howard was the man in the shadows.
Wouldn't that be funny if he
Definitely
if he
ready to
wasn't
retire
actually-
then.
I'm just wondering if there's any like Chinese espionage element. Something where,
You think maybe the Chinese were up there?
well, maybe the Chinese were in dealings with Vault-Tec or Robco or one of these other companies.
Hard to say.
Well, I know the reason
Because
they
we know
kinda
that the
launched their
Chinese
bombs
had
was
their own
because of
companies
the
here. Mama,
FEV.
Mama, what's the
Mama Dolce's.
Dolce's, yeah. Those were Chinese companies.
Yeah.
Front companies. And there was another one too in 4. It was like some kind of a business. Remember reading all their invoices? It was like, put up an American flag and, you know, do this and make sure that everything's American and don't speak Chinese. And there was all that stuff. Like they're bringing over like 10 Chinese people. Make sure you give them American names and, you know, stuff like that.
Like John.
Yeah, it's like when you're reading the terminal, it's like all these things that were going on in this building. And it wasn't a Mama Dolce's, it was just a regular business. And I think they got raided. Weren't they getting raided like that day?
Did you really call John an American name, considering it's a biblical name?
True story.
Okay.
I mean, that would be, you know,
It's hard to say what's an
Jewish-
American name anymore.
that would be like
Yeah.
a Jewish Palestinian or Israeli name, you know, John.
Don't even get me
people-
John
started.
all
Jacob.
people in
Well,
America
Hammersmith.
came from other countries. We are all foreigners.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the country was founded.
Yep, we're just a melting
Enclave
pot
makes
of
sense.
whatever.
I feel like the Enclave. So we find out that Vault-Tec kind of like had a little piece of the pie, like they owned a little bit of everybody. Because what was it? Hollywood, sponsored by Nuka-Cola. Is that what we saw there at the end? On the Hollywood sign, I think it said something about Nuka-Cola. And we know that Vault-Tec, like they owned Hawthorne Medical. They owned a lot of businesses. They
They're
had
like Google.
yeah, it's like they just had their little finger in everybody's pie, is what it seems like. And so who's to say that Enclave isn't the front, like Vault-Tec's not the front for the Enclave? Who knows? Like
the
they got
Institute.
Enclave's got to get its money from somewhere, right?
It's the Institute.
The Institute. Always. Blame the Institute.
I don't know.
Blame
Because we
Todd.
don't, because the only place we hear
Yeah,
the
blame. Yeah.
Institute is in 4, and the Vault Tech and Enclave are in all the games.
The Enclave really isn't in 1. It's not that I remember.
I thought there was one Enclave base in 1.
No, there
Well,
was.
Well, I thought the oil rig was in
Brotherhood.
1.
No, the oil rig was 2.
Raven Rock was 3, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I guess there probably is
Leor would
one
have
in
to
1.
chime in with that. He actually played 1.
Hmm.
I'm watching it right now, but I haven't gotten that far. I've only gotten up to the hub.
I wonder if they're going to introduce Sean.
That'd be pretty cool.
On the show? Probably
Right.
not.
They could.
Not, I mean, I don't see why.
Well, he's the leader of the Institute. He's the
I
But
was
father.
it's in
assuming that the
Boston.
Institute's still standing after the Brotherhood because they've
I mean,
already
they'd have to,
confirmed
like,
that
they're
the
going.
big airship was the Pridwin.
All right, so maybe
Oh.
Yeah,
Enclave's not
yeah, it
in
was
one.
confirmed the Bridwin.
Yeah, so unless he hitched a
Hmm.
ride with Maxon back west, I don't know. Because I mean, they're going east, obviously, but only to Vegas, which isn't that far.
Which
Unless
are
they really
I wonder
wanna
if they're going to do like,
things wrong.
scenes where like you're here in New Vegas and then they're going to go back.
I'm
and
sure they
forth.
will, because
Oh.
Hank is in New Vegas now. And then the Ghoul and Lucy are going to follow him to New Vegas, but they left Maxon or Maximus back in.
Maximus.
They left
Knight
him back at the
Maximus.
observatory. And we already know that the Brotherhood took over Philly. So they're all going to be there. And
They took
then
over
the
Philly
people in
and they took
33 are still
over
in
the
33.
observatory.
Yeah.
And we know that Norma's in 31, and we don't know, is he like coming back next season? He's going to be a popsicle. We don't know. And I mean, that's our main people. So
I don't know. I think Norm's got a bigger role to play in this that hasn't
I
come
feel
yet.
like he does. They did a lot of development with him, and I would hate to see. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
he is going to devise a way to take Bud out or get Bud to cooperate with him or something.
He just seems to me like a character that hasn't played his role yet. If that makes sense.
Well, he's
I
I mean, it
didn't
would be
like
hard to
him
get
at
quite a
Bud to
first.
bit.
cooperate. You just flip him onto his side.
I mean, it's like he's like, come here so I can stab you with this stuff. And he's just like sidestepping him. He's not even running. He's just like,
Be like,
step over
"Whoop."
here. I mean, yeah, he could just, flip his little Roomba. And it's like, okay, like a turtle. Can you get
Well,
up?
I think that little Roomba is like Fallout's version of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
I think so. Because I was like, why didn't they just go full on build a Robo Brain instead of do the brain on a Roomba? It was, I don't know. That was interesting. I'm sure it was easier.
It was the first. It was the first of many to come. They were experimenting with it.
But they were working
He was the
on
prototype.
pre-war. I mean, we have vaults filled with them.
I don't know.
We have a vault where everybody downloaded into a Robo Brain in Far Harbor.
All right, folks, let's wrap this up. All right, so if you guys got some opinions of your favorite villains and things like that, please send us an email at followrtb@gmail.com, or you can send us messages on Twitter at followrtb, or you can just type in the comments on YouTube, down at the bottom. You can find us at the
You
Fallout
can type
Roundtable.
comments in on Spotify too, I think.
And Spotify, okay, cool. And then,
Spotify.
Yeah, you can put questions or whatever in.
or you can join us next week live. You can come see us on Twitter, or you can come and
Thursday.
check us on Kick. We're live every Thursday, starting right around 5:30, depending on us.
That would be that would be Mountain Time.
Yeah.
No, that'd be Pacific time.
Oh, Pacific Time. Sorry,
that'd be
Pacific
my time.
time.
because it's like
It's
8:30 my time.
It's 8 o'clock Eastern for all those
Eastern.
people that are in the Eastern time zone, like
Yeah.
most of us are.
Well, that's just most
Not
of you.
everybody, but I think it's like it's
I'm
helpful
not
to
in the
know
Eastern
what
time
time
zone.
we're talking about.
Yeah, see,
Well, you're in the Central time zone.
which is not the
you-
Eastern time zone.
Just go an hour back. It's not a big deal.
Back in the day, remember when the TV shows were listed as 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern? Remember that?
Yep.
Yep. They still do it.
But they would like run
back when
everything
they
at
had
like
this
2
thing made
times
out of
because then they
paper
would
called
come
a
out
TV
roughly the
guide.
same time on the East Coast and the West Coast.
I remember getting the TV guide. I remember
I
that
do
was
too.
a big deal. Remember when you used to get the TV
Sometimes
guide
they'd have
like,
4
every week?
covers, and you're like, "Oh no, which cover do I want?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's funny. Man, good
I
time.
love
Or having
the
to go
TV
to the
guide. Why'd
specific
that go
channel
away?
and wait for the channel you're wanting to see to scroll through.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Yeah.
if you look away at any given time, you're like, oh crap! Now you got to watch the
Right.
whole thing again. You know.
Yeah. And a commercial came on. You're like, "Great, I'm gonna go refill my drink." Crap, I missed it. I
Or
took
you
too
got
long.
stuck sitting there watching like the that little screen that would play like the shopping channel at the same time. So you'd keep looking at that and you'd be like, damn it, I missed it again. They never thought, hey, just make it where you can rewind it, and scroll it back both direct. No, you had to watch it roll over.
We
Yeah,
used to
you
have
gotta-
something
you
that
gotta
would
do it
rewind
again.
like the last 5 seconds or whatever. And
That
it
was like DVR like later on though.
was that it? That was
Yeah.
weird. I was like,
All
how
right,
does
folks.
this work?
That's going to do it for us. Join us next week when we talk about something else weird that we'll come up with before next week because we never plan. We just kind of
Well, I mean, it's fun though. If y'all want to come on, let us know, because then if you have something cool you want to talk about, then we're down to talk about that. So
Yeah.
Yes,
And-
please
and
bring
in some
ideas.
cases, if you're not a complete psychopath, we'll bring you on air. See, Warpath here.
exactly. Hence that one right there. He
Well,
sent me a message today. It says I'm available, and we were like, cool.
and see, now he's got a date. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good morning.
Yeah, I knew he was gonna do that.
This podcast is part of the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.